Friday afternoon, we've just arrived with a van full of cement, rocks, tubing and other bits so that we can finish off the gate and maybe dig some fence posts for the main corners. Just filling up the water whilst it goes. So we've got a tank there and we'll have a bit of a wander. But yeah, things are looking nice up here. It's a nice day. So we need to make sure that we are the correct distance apart and that the edges are pointing. But also, should have done this for the other one, but we've got a thing of rocks just for the base, just to make sure that there's a bit more drainage. We've got really solid concrete in here, which is nice. Although this can then be sawn and removed, but we've got a decent setup. So then what I want to do is dig some holes over the weekend if I've got energy and time for the main corners. So down towards where that fence post is now, back up by those trees, then an anchor point ahead of the caravan behind the well protection shed, and then across probably to about where that is, and then that gives us quite a nice anchor that goes all the way around, and then we can just sink posts into the ground for the others, which should work quite well. So just going to scatter these. I'm going to try and get the fence post concreted today, because I think it will take a while to dry. Annoyingly, I didn't check the battery on my laser measure, so I'm forced to do it the manual way of clipping the tape measure to the side there and pulling it along. So we're looking at pretty much there and as close to the edge as we can get, so that should be fine. I am aware this is not the way you should do concrete, but it's the way we're gonna, because we've got loads of water in there. So what we're going to do is just tip the concrete down that hole into the water that's already there, let it mix, and then shove that in before it can dry. Bish bash bosh. Bish bash bosh, buddy. So now we do some ultra high tech mixing. Who needs a cement mixer when you have mud, powder and a tube, eh? So just going to grab the shovel and the hammer thing, make sure he's not chewing on it, and we'll see if we can get that in. As you can see, we've got a very sophisticated method for keeping it approximately in the right spot. So hopefully if we leave that alone for a bit, it'll dry out, and we'll see where we are. Do what we can to bury some of this stuff, and then do a final sunset walk around. Got our rowan tree now putting out leaves, which is looking excellent. You can see the budding starting on the apple tree and on here. Peach is looking nice. Starting to get some leaves coming out here as well, which is good. These guys are looking okay but not great. Research says I probably need to check the soil pH, so I need to have a look at what I need to do there. But yeah, this is budding out as well. We've got tiny amounts of leaves popping up at the bottom, so I don't think it's going to be even as good as it was last year, but maybe that will stabilise. This one's looking great and gigantic, so the cherries I think we're going to be well sorted on. Same as here, low growth, but the tops have died off. And then this guy's looking okay too. And then on this side, things are looking, if anything, better. So Also good growths on the cherries. Better pieces here. Buds are coming out real nice here. We've got some trees beginning to come up as well in the middle, so what I'm hoping is when the centre point is cleared, we can trim some of this back a bit, but maybe have the mid as a bit more of a privacy screen, maybe plant a few evergreens. These are looking great. Really coming out on the peaches. And then finally, our crushed apple tree seems to be doing pretty well despite being crushed. So yeah, I think when this is cleared up and I've got my chainsaw again, so I can try and at least chop the end off that and maybe make these a bit smaller, we'll be in a reasonably good state for him coming Friday. And then our weeping willow here is looking pretty healthy too. So hopefully that will grow up over the next few years, help deal with the pond here and just give a bit of privacy in that direction. So my neighbour's done a bunch of clearing, which is good because that was quite overgrown, so I think he's done an awesome job there. I'm wondering if I should move those branches over so they get chipped as well. I'm probably going to do it with the ones up there by the shed, just so they're out of the way. But progressing. That's like half full, maybe more, but there's a lot of rainwater from the last couple of days in there, so it's taken a while, but they seem pretty straight, although that one is quite a bit higher than the other one, so that hole's not quite as deep. Let's see if I can bash it in a little bit more whilst I can. He might bark a lot at random things, but he's not the best guard dog. My builder popped by just now to do some final pipe installation. Dog didn't hear the car, didn't see him walk by, didn't smell him up at the thing. It was literally once I brought him to the builder, he even noticed. But slowly getting there with filling this back in. It's hard work, a lot of rocks and stuff I'm hitting in there. But yeah, I think it will be good when it's done. So yeah, main jobs for the rest of this weekend, keep filling this in, which takes bloody ages, and mount the gate on this one ideally today. It's going to be an after lunch job once I've checked the details, and then tomorrow, once the concrete's had time to fully set, I can mount on this side. I will probably chop 6 inches off the top of there to just make them an even height. And yeah, the chainsawing of the back there needs doing as well. And then that pile of sticks up there, I'm going to move, I think, to just make the most of them. I'll keep the logs because they're kind of useful, but it's also going to depend on what happens with that rain cloud that's coming this way. Had a spare bag of soil, so just surrounded the first gate post with it and sprinkled some flower seeds from my mother. So hopefully in a month or two we'll have a nice little scattering around there, which will be good. And I think, yeah, I'll pick up a couple of additional bags to just level this out a bit with some nice topsoil, because I think that'll be good. And the same over there. So starting to look at how this comes together. Hopefully that'll be simple. That I'm not going to try until it's definitely not going to rain, because yeah, it's definitely a question of whether the wind blows. We've got super grey and super blue, so I'm going to duck inside for a minute before I start anything else, because it looks like it's coming up from the south at the moment, which means rain. We're almost there with gate number 1. Got the edging on. We're going to try it on the first pillar, so then we can mark out the bottom one. I am discovering that the cheap large bore drill bits I thought are not great. As you can see, it's already bent after one hole, so may not be able to do the other one. It can probably do the second hole in this post, but that might be the limit of what I can manage before I need to replace. Remember kids, buy cheap, buy often. Not the most elegant put together, but comes up, it's stable, and I'm a little bit worried just how far out these are, because it's supposed to be 3.2 meters, but this is definitely, that's definitely a long section, so I'm a bit worried the measurements are wrong. Yeah, that's definitely bad measurements. My gate is perfect. You can see my measurements are exact from the 3.2 to 3.25 suggested distance, but it clearly means 20 centimeters on either side of each gate, which is really frustrating because there's no way these concrete pillars are moving. So I need to have a think about options, what I could possibly do to sort this out. That's really annoying. It's annoying, buddy. But the gate's good. The one that works. Whee! Good job, buddy. I will admit to a certain pride in having solved the problem. It's not exactly the most even gate. Everything's higher on the left than the right. I blame the land. I think it's sloping. It also needs a bit of a sanding because I've just got a pretty nasty splinter that I need to sort out. But it doesn't really matter as we have a fully working double gate, which opens actually even better, I would say, on this side, as it opens fully out the way. So yeah, need to find out what happens to the gate connector, the lock, because the all the instructions show something that goes between, but there's nothing there, which I will need to just keep this shut. But pretty solid. Might need a little bit of chicken wire along the bottom to just make sure he doesn't dig his way out, but it's all good. I'm going to go bandage my finger. So you can see now that just sawed back a few pieces here just so that there's a nice free area around the centre. And then the grill house has been ordered. Don't have delivery week yet, and once we do, going to get some friends up. We'll build that over a weekend. I think the view over the back is going to be fantastic. So I've asked a thing for a skylight, so I need to check orientation because I want the skylight to give light, but to not like just be a direct beam of sun necessarily, because that might make it a bit annoying. But yeah, we've got everything we need for this piece now. And then one of the things I might do with the wood chips, depending on how many, cover this with canvas and then wood chip the paveway. I will need a gate, an additional gate. More and more the gating and the fencing is becoming somewhat permanent in my thinking, because I'm sinking concrete. So it's a bit like, well, if I'm doing a gate there, if I do a gate there and I've got one, maybe I want one that gives access to the pond and that side of the land, which might have got 3 gates, which will probably be concreted in, The four corners are concreted in. It's a reasonably permanent fencing structure at that point, but I guess if I'm smart about it, I can continue expanding it and it can go around the side of the cabin, so then there'd be a whole sort of interior section fenced off that the dog can explore, with pieces that are a bit more protected elsewhere. Didn't get finished Saturday after all. The weather kept kind of hitting rain, so it was never quite sure I wanted to carry on, but we got the overwhelming majority done. These are an absolute freaking nightmare because you've got to get the screws in around the glass. It's all very tiny and needless, but yeah, once those are done, it's just the four protective areas, so I get that done tomorrow before I head home, and then that's ready for the chilies and the peppers. There's something in this box because it's the only one he seems to care about. I've had to chase him off of it twice now where he's just been sat and sniffing on it. But this is all finally coming together. We've got the first of the glass pieces on, so I know that they fit properly, so I can do the other three, and then this piece is done. And there we go. Finished greenhouse. It's a bit of a hassle to put together. The instructions are vaguer than they could need to be, and those screws are a real pain, but it's there. It looks great. It's not quite as square as it should be because the boxes are slightly off, so there's a couple of little gaps which hopefully won't make much difference, but it looks awesome. I love it. I don't think I need any more for the plans I have for the next couple of years, but that'll keep us going. We've got box 3 is going to be the Three Sisters, so the squash seeds will go in soon. Box 4, we've already planted the onions and the carrots, probably no garlic. Box 5 is fallow, so I won't even bother building it this year. Box 6 needs filling, so that's a job for probably next weekend on the way up. It's a long weekend because that's where our tomatoes will go. Box 7, I don't remember what's going in. Box 8 is beans, so a few of those are going in tomorrow before I leave. They're soaking at the minute. And then box 9 is also fallow. Sorry, box 1 is fallow. That may get the one thing of mash that I bought. Not mash, squash. The courgette thing. And then box 9 in the centre doing quite nicely with the strawberries. So, grow boxes doing well. Something that one of my other hobbies that's translated across, I 3D printed some cute little indicators as to what's in different pots. They are done with PLA rather than ABS, so they will probably not survive, but they're a good little test. So got our ones for the strawberries, which are beginning to push out, which is looking good. And yeah, I do think I need to bring a little stapler up to just secure some of those. I need to get the copper stuff out to finish these off. So a few of these are struggling, but I'm wondering if I can do it in time. We have the greenhouse to build, which is cool, but the break in the weather is unclear. We've got lovely blue sky on one half, but rumours that it's going to keep raining until like 4 o'clock, so we'll see where we go. We've got a couple more seeds to go in now. We've got peas and beans, and for whatever reason the dog likes sitting in this one, but yeah, the beans have been soaking overnight, so they should be activated, and then we've got further beans to go in, so we'll do roughly a third on here. I have a minor problem with my little signs. Somebody thinks they're fun to chew. Don't you? One big change since last year is just how much grass has been coming through. So we had a lot of the, I don't know what you call it, marsh weed or marsh reeds. And you can see sort of the piles of it, but you can see grass now poking through in a lot of places. And all down here is grass, which was mud. So it is super interesting watching the change from a recovering area into what is now not done, it's a long way off, but improving. I think we'll get to a point where hopefully if we can get some decent tree cover along here, so there's a bit more of a privacy screen as people come down, that it'll be a really nice space. And just getting rid of all of this wood will make a huge difference how it looks for people coming by. And then, yeah, a couple of years for these to grow up and the bushes to grow out, we'll have something cool. So we've got a couple of tree areas growing, so we've got that picking up quite well, and then I'm guessing they're probably beech. And then a few around the front there, so it is all coming together. Compared to last year, we're getting lots of flowers coming up in the more lawny areas. So loads of these small white ones, some purple, which is really nice. I'm finally through at the base, which is good, but it's still struggling getting through the rest. So keep at it, but I'm going to take a break because I think it struggles when it gets too warm. So it might be one piece at a time every hour or so, but we'll see. But we're at least making reasonable progress with those logs. And yeah, once this is out and these are chipped, the logs aren't so much of a problem. It's approaching lunch break, so I'm going to go inside in a moment, but I've cleared out a lot of the biggest branches here. I don't know how many more I'll bother to drag down. I want to keep that as firewood at some point, maybe pile it up a bit more neatly. But yeah, that clears this area up quite a bit in terms of mess. So if I can maybe shift some of the biggest pieces there down, we're in a good spot. So that's been cleared down to a manageable level. Everything else I think can stay as it's reasonably dry, usable as firewood. There's no point in chipping everything and then having to buy firewood. But yeah, looking nice. Chainsaw's kind of given up again, but I like how visible the greenhouse is even from here. For unclear reasons, he doesn't want to come with me. Come on, buddy, this way. This way.